I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Audrey Whissicker. I am the founder of the Young Artist Showcase. Way back in the day, 2010 was the first time we had this online choreographers contest. And quite frankly, everybody was saying, you can't have a virtual skating competition. That'll never work. And now look what we're doing. Everything's virtual. So I'm proud that we were able to push that through even when it wasn't necessary. And now we have contestants from all over the world participating in Young Artist Showcase Revitalized, thanks to Garrett Kling and Kate McSwain. So today is an opportunity for all of us to meet each other and to introduce them one by one. I'm going to ask them all to answer a couple of group questions, and then we're going to do individual questions. And a lot of the questions have to do with your creative process, and some of them have absolutely nothing to do with your creative process, but it's a chance for the skating community to get to know you. So I wanted to also mention the person that was part of my motivation in starting the Young Artist Showcase. It was choreographer Brian Wright, and some of you have seen this program before. It was, here's the first one. Young Artist Showcase 2010. And do you guys all have your icons already made up? Your icons? Very, very cool. And again, this is the way people start to identify you. So it's very important that you have your icons ready to go. And we will talk about a little bit about Brian Wright and what he contributed to skating. But I'd like to start by having each one of you introduce yourself very briefly, a little bit about your personal background and your involvement with choreography. So I guess we'll start with Brooke. Brooke, are you ready? Everybody meet Brooke Tufts.
Hi everybody, I'm Brook. I'm 16 years old. I've been skating for about 12 years. I started, I believe, doing little choreography when I was like 6. I remember my mom and my grandma pushing me into it. And then Audrey here really got me started in it.
And you have participated in Quest for Creativity previously.
Yes, I did. I did it in 2017 and 2018, sorry.
They all blend together after a while.
Yeah.
But I think you won one of the quests?
I did. I won 2 of them.
Excellent. All right. And we will come back around to you. And our next Yazzer is going to be Kirsten Hall from Boston right now. You have to unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kirsten. I'm 26 years old. I'm living in Boston. I guess I'll just kind of start where I came from. So I grew up in Minnesota. And so I think that's kind of how I got into skating, because there's nothing really else to do there because it's so cold and everything's frozen all the time. So I kind of started skating there when I was around 7 years old. And at that point I had been dancing for pretty much my entire life. I started dancing. And so when I started skating, it kind of translated really well onto the ice. So I really enjoyed the fact that skating was basically for me like dancing on the ice. And I was a very creative little kid to start. I always loved creating my own things and arts and crafts and just creating anything. And so when my mom signed me up for dance and skating, it just kind of allowed me a space to have that creative outlet. So I think it just stuck because I loved it so much, and I was able to use that space to create. So I'm here, and I kind of grew up a competitive skater, and I just always kind of gravitated towards the choreography aspect. I always loved creating my own programs. Like I said, I just am a very creative person, like we probably all are. And yeah, so I just kind of gravitated towards choreography, and the more I skated, the more I choreographed my own programs and started to choreograph for my fellow skaters and other people as well. So yeah.
Thank you. And our next Yazzer, all the way from Switzerland, is it Julia or Julia?
Hi, it's Julia.
Julia, is Sari?
Ichiri.
Ichiri, okay. And please
Yes.
introduce yourself to the skating community.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Julia Ichiri. I'm 24 years old. I live in Zurich. And yeah, I started skating when I was 4 years old, and pretty quickly it was my biggest passion, especially to improvise and to just like go with the music and move and not really stop. So I went into competitions, and then with 19 I stopped, took a break, did just some dance and explored different kind of styles in dance. And so I went into show skating because I felt like this is still home. And after show skating, basically COVID hit in, and now I really am keen to go into more this kind of inner child and this improvisation, choreography, just exploring movement and researching different styles. Yeah, I'm really excited for this.
Thank you. And now Adrian Ott.
Yes, Adrian Ott. Hi, I'm Adrian, and I actually just turned 28 this past Friday. And I've been skating for 18 years, and I've been skating for Disney on Ice for the past 6 years. And I skate with my husband in the show, so we do Aladdin and Jasmine together, and we love it. We love skating together every day. So when COVID hit, it was pretty tough, especially because last year I had to take 6 months off to do chemotherapy when I got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. So, the past 2 years have been really tough, and I think just being able to like tell my story, and people really enjoy hearing stories, and that's, kind of what I've been doing on the ice, and that's kind of what I want to do through these challenges, and just, learning and growing and, telling stories on the ice is really my biggest passion.
Fantastic. Look forward to seeing your work. And we have from Sweden, Isabel Ragnerson. How to pronounce your last name?
Yes, Isabel Ragnerson.
Ragnerson.
Yes, from Stockholm, Sweden. And I'm soon to be 33 years old in September. And I started skating when I was 7 years old. And I really liked like the whole package, like the athletic and technical side, but also the connection to the music and the choreography and everything. So that still is my passion, like my biggest passion. So I skated with Holiday on Ice. Now it's like 10 years ago. But after that, I started my dance education. So I got more into dance and modern dance, like really all different dance styles. I enjoy dancing. I can't choose. It's just so yeah. I'm really enjoying like trying to combine the dancing and the ice skating. It's really interesting for me.
Thank you. And so I'm going to ask all of you the same question. I'm going to give everybody a second or two to think about their answer, and then we're all going to have the same question asked. The first question I have is, do you know any Young Artist Showcase pieces that are maybe your favorite? And if you're not familiar with any of the Young Artist Showcase pieces, perhaps a program that is fairly well known to the skating community. One of the things I want to do in having this particular interview is to get people inspired and re-energized about looking at previous YAS artists. And if you are not familiar with an actual Young Artist Showcase program, maybe you're familiar with a Young Artist Showcase choreographer who maybe is an influence in your work. So I think probably Brook's been involved with Young Artist Showcase the longest, so we'll start with Brook. And do you have a favorite YAS choreographer or YAS piece that influenced you?
I have to think, honestly, I think looking back from when I first started, I remember watching one of Garrett's to start and being like, okay, I can do this. Like I can work with us, and I just remember watching more and more after that, but Garrett definitely sticks out for me.
And it's interesting to see the evolution of even the choreography. I think Garrett did 2 seasons, and he totally evolved, and now his work is much more refined. So I think it's great that you were able, because that was early on in
Yeah.
Young Artist Showcase. Okay, so how about Kirsten? Are you familiar with any Young Artist Showcase pieces or choreographers? Oh, she's on mute. Kirsten, there you go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you now.
Yeah, so I was just saying, I don't know if I'm familiar with any like specific pieces from YAS, but I obviously know Garrett and Kate, and they've been like very influential in my choreography and just like my pathway to becoming a choreographer, kind of. And so they've inspired me a lot in my time here in Boston. I mean, before COVID came around, I guess. I used to work a lot with like Garrett and Kate during their seminars. Just feel like I could learn a lot from them being on the ice with them. So I think honestly, they're just like very inspirational to me, and I feel like I can just learn so much from them because they've been doing this for so long. So I think just in general, they inspire me a lot.
Excellent. Adrian, are you familiar with any Young Artist Showcase choreographers or pieces?
Yeah, I've been like looking at some YouTube videos and watching other people's pieces from previous years, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but Mauro.
Mauro Bruni.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love his skating. It's beautiful, and I think my favorite piece that he did when he was competing was the one with like the hoops that they had to do. I guess the prop they had to use was like hula hoops.
It was called Hoopla.
Yeah,
That
and
was
he
the
had
challenge.
and he did like a workout video, and it was just, to me it was like really cute, and he used the prop to tell a story, and he still had really good choreography. So for me, that I've already filmed challenge 3 using my prop, so I think that for me was like the best example, because not only was he doing creative things, he was telling a story, but like he used it in a funny way, and it made me laugh, and it kept my attention the entire time. And like it was like over 3 minutes, but I wanted him to go on more. I wanted my own hula hoop so I could do it with him.
And it was interesting too, because most skaters, we don't typically have props unless you do sort of showcase or some ISI type things. Sorry, my husband just started his tractor. Shut the door. Oh yeah, life on Zoom. But anyway, Mara will be pleased to know somebody saw that piece, and we'll talk about using props more. So let's see, Isabel, have you followed any Young Artist Showcase choreographers, or are you familiar at all with any of the pieces?
No, I'm not so familiar with any specific piece, but I know Mauro also and seen his skating a bit, and I really like his style. So of course he inspired me also.
Great. And finally, Julia?
I really am a lot inspired by Kate, and I've seen lots of her videos on YouTube. And also with Garrett, with Holiday on Ice, we did a duet together where we had a dance piece that we wanted to put onto the ice. And that process, going through that process with him was really, really interesting and a wonderful learning experience for sure. So I'm really inspired by both's work. Yeah.
That's really wonderful to hear that. And I encourage this new generation of Yazzers to get to know each other. So the question was, do you know much about each other? Because the day will come when something's not working and you're going to need support and assistance. And I'll tell you that in the early days when we were doing Young Artist Showcase, I would have one artist contacting me, they were having a problem, and then somebody else would step up. I'll never forget, Adam Blake was helping everybody with technology because you know, things were challenging. And so you guys are going to bond together and, you know, build your own community within the Young Artist Showcase community. So that's important. So the next everybody participation question is, what hidden talents or hobbies do you have that might shape your creativity outside of being an ice skater? For example, maybe you're a singer or you're an artist and you like to paint or draw. One of the Yazzers was very, how should I say, was in fantastic physical condition and could do all kinds of crazy headstands and body slides. Do you guys know Zabato? Some of you know. You look up Zabato BB and some of his work. It's physical beyond ice skating. Let's start again. Julia, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, it's Julia.
Julia.
Yeah.
What hidden talent or hobbies do you have outside of being an ice skater?
Something I definitely love to do beside ice skating is dancing, just contemporary dance, also improvisation, sometimes hip hop and commercial, but another thing, definitely painting. I love to paint when I'm kind of too much in my head. I start to paint and I put on music and it feels like improvising on the ice or with your body, but just with colors. And I love to do it with my hands, not with a pen, but just have colors on my hands and paint. So
do you know who Lorna Brown is? She was one of the judges for Young Artist Showcase many times. She is a choreographer, but she's a fantastic artist. And so she actually was hand painting outfits for some of the people that performed her pieces. So I think it's always fun if you can meld in an additional part of your personality with your skating choreography. So that's great. Isabel, what hidden talent do you possess?
I could also say dancing because, yeah, that's a big influence in my life. But I'm going to say it's skateboarding because I started skateboarding a year ago now. And it's like become this new passion and it's really fun. And it was just like a challenge to learn something new when I'm older and, you know, try something else. But I would say that influenced me a lot because I think the artistic and creative side in skateboarding, it's big, and it's a lot of photography and filming in skateboarding. So yeah, I think I get a lot of new ideas from that community of skateboarding.
Wow. And it's really a very different way of feeling your feet.
Definitely. And you also have
to think of skateboarders as they move sideways.
Yeah, that's so difficult to move sideways. Everyone, when I tell them, people I meet in the skateboarding, I tell them I do ice skating, and they're like, oh, that's similar. But I'm like, no, you go sideways. That's not the same. And you also have to have, like, the board is not attached to your feet. Our skates are like stuck on our feet, so it's much more easier. And then sometimes you do tricks on an object or something, so you have to like the speed and everything.
Very interesting. Thank you.
So much fun.
Yeah, that okay, so that's a whole different way of moving. I just to share, I tried surfing and I could not get it in my brain that you were supposed to stand sideways on the board. I kept paddling out and then hopping up and facing straight forward, you know, onward, and the board would just flip me right over. So going sideways in motion did not work for me at a late stage of my life. But anyway, Kirsten, what hidden talent or hobby do you have that we might find influencing your works?
Well, you guys stole two of my hobbies. So I actually dance and I skateboard. I have competitively danced like my entire life. So obviously I think that influences my choreography. I learned to like move with the music. I learned the timing with the music. I think that really, really helps. But another thing I guess maybe is I play the piano as well. So I think it really also helps the choreography because you're learning the timing of the music. You're learning the parts of the music that are like crescendoing and the parts that are getting quieter. So like you kind of learn to like really listen to not just like the main portion of the music, but like the underlying and how that can like influence movement. So I'd say that is maybe a cool hidden hobby.
Have you ever played your own
that helps me
composition? Have you ever played your own piece and then skated to it?
No, but I would love to. I like try to make up my own music, but it's like it's so much harder than you think.
Yeah.
But I've been working on it.
Very, very interesting. All right. And Adrian.
I can juggle.
Oh, there you go.
Don't worry, I won't be putting that in any of my challenges.
Fire
No,
club
actually,
in the middle of your piece.
yeah, I don't paint. I think honestly, one of my biggest strengths, I wouldn't say it's a hidden talent, is just being able to communicate on the ice. Being able to skate with your husband. I mean, there's so many people that tell me like, I don't know how you work with your husband so closely. Like, don't you guys fight? And we really don't. Like, when we have problems, like we talk about it, we work through it. And I think that really helps with my like choreography process, because being able to talk out loud with somebody else has kind of helped develop in my own head when I'm, choreographing for someone else, even if it's a solo piece. Doesn't really apply just to pairs, but just kind of having that conversation out loud has like helped my thought process. So I know that's not very creative, but I would say it's definitely a talent, and I've developed it through the years working with him.
Well, and skating with your spouse is definitely a hidden talent.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. So that I'm looking forward to seeing the choreography on that. And again, my personal life, I'm married to the owner of the ice rink that hired me when I was 17. He's the owner operator. I was the skate coach. So it is a juggling. You are juggling when you work with your spouse. All right, and we didn't hear from Brooke. What's Brooke's hidden secret skill?
Oh, I really had to think about this one because I don't have many. One thing that I do really like to do is I do like to draw, mainly just because I do with choreography and everything, always like to have some storyline to it. No matter if it's something to me, it could mean something totally different to somebody else, but it means something to them and I'm okay with that. So when I draw, I like to just kind of sketch whatever and see what story I can get out of a picture.
I think having the visual, setting the scene in your brain before you create the movement on the ice sometimes is very powerful. I encourage all my students when we do choreography to create a story scene. Like what tree is over there? What kind of tree? Is there a bird in the tree? I think the more vivid you can create your pictures is very important. So that's definitely a great skill to have. All right, so now we're gonna go with this premise that I have for all the choreographers. This is my reminder to everybody that not everyone likes the same things. Not everybody enjoys the same taste in music, in art, in cuisine. I use this silly analogy of being in an art class and the art instructor walks around the room and they see, oh, over here is Monet, very nice. And over here is Renoir, very nice. And then they come over and here's Picasso. And the art instructor goes, you made a person with 3 square heads and everybody's blue. And so just remember when you're creating your pieces that not everybody likes the same things. And I think if you homogenize your work in an attempt to fit into what you think people want to see, you diminish your own voice. So the same line I gave to every Young Artist Showcase from the onset of the contest was always, if you liked it and you're proud of it, when you're finished with whatever piece you made, then it was good. and it was worth doing. And even if nobody else likes it, and that was hard because sometimes when the pieces were being judged, I had situations where I think Adam Blake, he got 5 stars from one judge and he got a half star, I think, from another judge. Somebody loved it, somebody hated it. And so at the end of the day, I'm just suggesting to everybody that you have to like what you make. And I know it is a contest, but keep that in mind. So I'm going to ask you your preferences. And again, now we're getting to the fun part. So it's going to be cats or dogs. And I'm just going to keep score here. All right, so we'll start with Brooke. Cats or dogs?
I'm a dog person.
Okay. Julia, cats or dogs?
Cats.
Kirsten, cat or dog?
I think I'm like both. I like all animals, but I have a cat, so maybe cat person.
Yeah, I think that says it. Whatever you have, probably your strongest preference. Adrian, cats or dogs?
I mean, I love them both, but if I had to choose, probably a cat.
Oh. Isabel?
I think I have to say cat because I'm allergic to dogs.
Okay. All right. Next choice, space exploration. So going to outer space or a journey through the Amazon jungle. So space or jungle. All right. Isabel, space or Amazon?
That's a hard one, but I think the jungle, because I love nature and there's just so many species of animals there to discover.
Brooke, space or jungle?
I think I'm gonna go jungle.
Adrian, space or jungle?
Space for sure.
Kirsten, space or jungle?
I was gonna say the same thing. Space, definitely.
Julia, space or jungle?
Space.
Okay, pretty even split. Next choice, ocean vacation or lake vacation? They're very different in my opinion. One of my friends, when I was telling them, this was one of my questions for you guys in this interview, they're like, they're both water, but to me, they're so different in the feeling of being in the water. Okay, Julia, ocean or lake vacation?
Ocean.
Ocean. But you're in a lake country.
Yes, but I'm half Italian, so my dad comes from the south of Italy and we always went there. So definitely the ocean.
The ocean. Kirsten.
For me, that's hard because I grew up on Lake Superior and I absolutely
I was
loved
gonna
it.
say,
but
you're from Minnesota, land of 20 million lakes.
Yeah, I know. I feel like it should be an obvious answer. I guess I'm gonna go with lakes.
Okay. Let me ask you, did you go ice fishing?
Do I go ice fishing?
Have you been?
No, that scares me. Just drilling a hole
Yeah.
in the ice while you're standing on it makes me a little nervous.
Sheila Thielen took
Yeah.
me ice fishing. Yeah. Not my thing.
Yeah, it's scary.
No.
No, not mine either.
Adrian, ocean or lake?
I guess it depends on what you can do there, but probably the lake.
Okay. Isabel?
Ocean.
Brooke, ocean or lake?
I'm definitely ocean.
All right, and our final choice, stand-up comedy or documentary? And by the way, this is a trivia about me. I studied stand-up comedy. I've been coaching for a while and I was doing these presentations and seminars and I was told that I needed to be more entertaining. So I did improv stand-up for 3 years and it was way harder than you would think. It's one of the hardest 5 minutes of my life was standing up in front of people and telling jokes. So if you're maybe a shyer type personality, I recommend doing stand-up, but it's not so easy. All right, so stand-up, comedy, or documentary. And they're both good. It's just a way for me to get to know you. So Brooke, stand-up or documentary?
Stand-up comedy.
Isabel, stand-up or documentary?
Stand-up comedy.
Adrian?
Yeah, stand up.
No. Stand-up has really evolved. There are more and more comedians. It used to be a very small group and cult, but now there are more and more female comedians too. Kirsten?
I think I'm a huge documentary girl, so I'm gonna have to say documentaries.
All right, and Julia?
Stand-up comedy.
Okay. And final group question before we get to the individual. If you were on a desert island, a deserted island, sorry, can't even read my own notes, and you were allowed to have one book and one snack, what would you take with you? So, a book and a snack. And I know some of our European contestants, you have different snacks than we do, but they're all good. It's funny because I interviewed somebody who was from the UK and they were rattling off all these snacks and I had no idea what the snacks were because we don't have them here. But anyway, okay, Julia, a book and a snack.
I think Harry Potter. And oh, the snack is hard. I would say peanut butter and banana.
Ah, that was not even what I thought you were going to say. You have so many good snacks in Switzerland. Okay.
With
Brooke?
some Lindt chocolate. No.
Yeah, exactly. Brooke, a book and a snack.
I would say the book would probably have to be something skating related, knowing me.
Oh, there aren't that many skating related books, are there?
I know I read the Virtue and Meyer book, which I loved.
Okay.
And then My Sergei, that one too, I loved. And then a snack, I don't know what I would take. Actually, knowing me, this is what my family would say. They would probably tell me I would bring like a Starbucks drink. That's what they would say.
Okay.
I'll go with that.
All right, and a skating type book. Have you read the book that Christine Brennan wrote about Inner Edge, Inside Edge, and she featured Brian Wright in one of the chapters. So if you like that kind of stuff, it sounds like you're a little bit old school that way.
Yeah.
You like old skating things. Maybe I can send it to you.
Definitely.
Isabel, a book and a snack.
Okay. Marcus Aurelius Meditations and Dark Chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meditations, huh? Adrian, a book and a snack.
Okay, so for book, I don't know if this is allowed, but a journal? So you can write about what's going on your island, so then, you can publish a book when you get off of it. Hopefully that happens.
There's no rules on your answers, so a journal, yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna write your own book.
Yeah. And then for a snack, peanut butter and banana.
Ah. So it's a global snack.
I've had European friends on tour and they've hated peanut butter and banana. They think it's so gross. So I'm surprised that Julia said she liked it too.
I think that's something like I would feed my 5-year-old grandson. Yeah, but hey,
he's got good taste. He's got good taste.
There's no wrong answer in this one. And Kirsten, your book and your snack.
I think for books, someone already said Harry Potter, so I guess we'll do something different. My first choice, but I book by Gladwell. I feel like they're just really good books for making you think. So I feel like that would keep me pretty entertained. And then for a snack, the first thing that came to mind was like a jar of Nutella and like a spoon.
Good old comfort food.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to ask each one of you a different question, so you will all get a different question to ponder. And I'm going to give you a little bit of time when I ask you. So we'll start with Brooke. And when you're creating a piece, Brooke, where do you get your inspiration?
It definitely depends on the piece, but I would say I choreographed my junior long program last year. I skated to Romeo and Juliet, and I like to watch a lot of like the past skaters who have skated to pieces like that and try to figure out how they kind of represented it, and then I try to kind of put it in my own way. But whenever I do choreograph a piece, I try to watch like movies and shows and stuff that could have that storyline. I have this thing where like before a competition last year, I would have to watch scenes from Romeo and Juliet to really get into it. So I would say just kind of figuring out the storyline, how I want it to go, and then watching things, shows, movies.
Do you like to study to create a vision? Again, it's a visual thing you have.
Yeah.
So your drawings and things. Great. All right. Isabel, what choreographers influence your creativity? They can be non-skating choreographers too. If you had to name some of your favorite choreography pieces, who were they created by?
Yeah, well, one Swedish choreographer, Alexander Ekman. He's very famous and he's very playful. He made this piece called Play also. He's very innovative and yeah, just trying different things. He did this ballet, the Swan Lake, and he put like a lake, like water on the stage. So
Actual water.
yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
You'll have to chat his name in later on because
Mhm.
I'm not familiar with this choreographer.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's the one that just first popped up in my mind. Of course, there's a lot of different choreographers, but yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Adrian, what is your favorite thing about the skating community in general?
I think, especially going over to shows, just realizing how small the skating community is, and like, it's crazy. I mean, especially on Disney on Ice, there was 9 different shows before COVID, and you go to a new show and just like talking about certain people. So I think that it's really cool seeing like choreography from different shows, you know, back and forth and that sort of thing. We've only been on like 3 or 4 different shows doing break work and stuff. So it's just interesting to see the different choreography from shows through like older shows, newer shows. And I think for me, like seeing that skating community and the different choreography and how like everything is really related and we draw inspiration from each other is definitely my favorite part.
For a show eventually like that? Is that,
Sorry, I think you cut out. I didn't hear that.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you have a desire to choreograph for a show like that someday?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's definitely like one of my biggest goals is like someday to like choreograph for a show. And just like I love doing Disney, but I think one of the biggest limitations is that you're always doing Disney stories. So I think for me, like being able to put my own ideas and own characters would be like so amazing, and it's definitely a goal of mine. But right now my biggest goal too is just to go back to shows. So
God willing, we can do that soon.
yeah.
All right, Kirsten, what is your first memory of ice skating?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that was a long time
A
ago.
little cake.
My first memory of ice skating. It was actually, so this is kind of like very random, but I lived in Japan when I was younger for the Navy. So we were over there for a little bit. And I believe my first time skating was actually in Japan, which was weird because like there were districts over there. It wasn't like a really huge thing where I was in Okinawa. So it was like a very tropical island. But I think my first memory was my mom taking me and my older brother to the rink when we were really young and just pushing around one of those little like things, those little plastic carts to help you skate. But yeah, I think that was like my first memory. Not super exciting, but I enjoyed it.
I'm impressed that you can remember that first memory, because a lot of people sometimes they don't. So interesting.
Yeah.
And Julia, what is your least favorite part? We all know what our favorite parts of creating a piece is, but what is your least favorite part of choreography?
When I improvise something while I'm creating, then I want to go back and I want to do it again, and I don't know what I did.
Remember. You knew it was great too, right?
And I get mad because I think, just figure yourself. Yeah.
That's very frustrating. All right, so my last question to each one of you, then we're going to wrap it up. And I'm going to ask you if you have any questions for me before you get started into your Young Artist Showcase journey. So the last question is, what do you hope to accomplish by being in Young Artist Showcase? So we'll start with Julia, since she's on screen right now. What do you hope to gain from being in Young YAS?
Really to get a feedback from experts of choreography, and also to challenge myself to get the programs done and see how I'm doing in this process. Yeah, I think I don't want to put like this whole entire expectation on making it perfect. I really wanna would like to see how I can be, or trust that intuition and trust that that improvisation and creative process of a storytelling, or a concept that I want to put out there, and see also how this goes with the skaters. Like, yeah, I'm really open.
Great. Kirsten? Oh, you're
I
muted.
keep
There you
repeating
go.
myself and then I forget. I think kind of along the same lines. I was super happy when I got picked for competing in this competition, because I think it allows all of us to get some really good feedback from, like she said, the experts who kind of have been through everything and know what they're doing and have a lot of knowledge on the topic of choreography. And I think you can just learn a lot and grow a lot as a person and a choreographer throughout this whole thing. And I'm just excited to create and put my work out there and see what the world thinks of it. And I'm also excited to see what everyone else creates and to see like the diversity among the skating. Pretty excited about it.
It's so fun for one of the creators of the project sometimes to see what the contestants come up with, because you're all given the same assignment. But I want you all to study the piece that Zabato did. I'll send you guys the link, where he took a very ethereal, floaty piece of music and put a kind of hip hop rap on top of it. And I'm sure a lot of people were taken aback when they first saw it, but it was very effective. So, okay, same question to Adrian.
Okay, I would say just being in the community for me, like, already is, like, I've already gotten that out of it. So, like, I think getting feedback from people that are really well respected in the creative skating community is, for me, gonna be amazing. And I mean, I just think that putting myself out there and being vulnerable and getting that feedback will make me grow more. And, you know, just like there's so many people that have done it in the past that I look up to. So just kind of like going through the same creative process they've gone through in the past. Like when I first started shows, Adam Blake was one of the choreographers, and now like knowing like he did this and, you know, his process and stuff, like for me, I'm really looking forward to that.
And I encourage you guys to reach out to some of the previous contestants. And I can guarantee you that most of them will take the time to help you because they've all been there. They've all been frantically trying to get the work done or had choreography block, or, you know, they will be part of your support team. So if you know somebody, and if you don't know somebody, I will introduce you and kind of give you some buddies to lean on. But, you know, being part of that community is very important. Isabel, what do you look forward to in being Young Writer Showcase?
I'm looking forward to pushing myself to, get these choreographies done and exploring my own style and developing it. And also what the other girls said, getting feedback from experts. But also this side being like in the community, connecting more with you guys, and also maybe connecting with the audience, and just like this whole community thing, getting to know people, and also doing work.
You are very bonded. And Brooke, your mission in being a YASer, and you've been in part of this program probably the longest of everybody.
I'm definitely very fortunate. I'm very, very grateful to be a part of it, especially now jumping into kind of the older group. But no, I'm really lucky because I never would have thought like getting the challenges and never would have thought to do anything like that. So I'm really excited to be able to see how far I can push my work and see how emotional or how funny or how weird I can make something. See how far I can take it.
And I applaud all of you. You were very, you were in this big outreach of, I want to improve myself and I want to make pieces for the community and explore and get the feedback from the judges. And not sure if this is a female male thing, but a lot of the guys, when I would ask them, why are you doing this? They wanted to win. They would say that. They actually would say that to me. They wouldn't say they wanted the trophy, but they're saying, I want to win. What do I need to do to win? So might be a different interview if we had the original YAS guys. Garrett and Kate, I thought this was really fascinating, and I'm glad we set this up. Again, I want to acknowledge my beloved, and he was a longtime AIDS survivor, and he taught me about being fearless with creativity. And I'm going to leave you with this. One time he created a piece, and it was so interesting and so unusual, and the shapes and the placement of things. And I'm watching him do this, was with the dance team. I said, what is your inspiration? What are you thinking of? And he said, lampshades. Literally, he was using different lampshades as his inspiration. So welcome to Young Writer Showcase. I'll probably do an individual short interview with Stephen because we want everyone to get to know Stephen as well. And we're behind you 100%. If you would like to ask me a question now's your chance. We're all together. So if anybody has a question, not technological, I'm not good with technology. So that's something that somebody else can help you with. Yes, Isabel, question.
So when you're doing work and you're creating choreography, maybe improvising, or, and then you get noticing that you're always doing the same things. That's my style, the way I move. But then, like, how do you go further to like develop it and like not get stuck in the same patterns all over? every
So
time.
it's interesting you asked that. I just made a game up for a young skater that I'm working with and he's transitioning from being a competitive ice dancer now into choreographing and coaching. And I brought out some dice, and each number on the dice represented a different movement and a different emotion and a different body part. And we would roll the dice, and it would be turn your head in an angry manner. And it completely unblocked him from doing what he was so familiar with, because we all have our comfort zone of movement. So sometimes having it by chance, like it was not your decision, it was the fate of the cosmic universe saying, I want you to snap your head in an angry way. And all of a sudden it will change your thinking a little bit. So try the chance game. That's a fun way. And even if it's just a game, it will make you do things differently than you normally would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
And everybody, especially if you're working with children, it's really fun. Sometimes I put a slip of paper in a hat and they have to pull it out and they have to skate like a snake, or how would an elephant skate across the ice surface? So I think it's good for us to remember there's different ways of creating movement. And you can study all the great choreographers. There's a Laban method of movement, I think flip, dag, ring. And that's another way of expanding yourself. And I think, so recently I took a hip hop class, and this was before the shutdown, but I'm 65 and I'm in a class with a bunch of teenagers, and nobody in there was over the age of 20. And I'm in the back of the room, Brook's laughing, and hip hop granny back there. I've never done that kind of stuff in my life, but I thought, okay, you have to get to that point where you don't care what people think about you. And that's when you've really expanded as an artist, where you just don't care and go and try something. I think that's really important. Yeah. So it was great until the teacher asked me to, now everybody's going to show their step, and I had to do the piece. That wasn't so great, but yeah. Be fearless. That's the other thing. And you're going to be judged. There's no way around feeling not happy when somebody says, I didn't like what you did. But like I said, if you liked it and it's what you wanted to say it out loud. Anybody else have a question or comment? Yes, Adrian.
Well, I was just wondering, because I've read the challenges about 1,000 times, and I'm just wondering what the process, how do they come up with challenges every year? Is it one person submits it? Do you make all the challenges?
I did all the challenges starting in 2010, and this season, because it was with Kate and Garrett and I brainstormed, and we would hash out things and push them one way around. Yeah, but it got to the point where I was thinking, how many different ways can I ask people to create pieces? And the prop one was the easiest one, because I would just look around the room and go, oh, a chair, there's your prop. And that one was called proper seating. And it had to be something that you could sit on. So somebody used a trash can, somebody used a table. There was one called play ball, the Mauro Bruni one, the hula hoops. But finding a way to challenge you that wasn't the same challenge that I had done in season 2 or 3 or 7 was a challenge. And yet I think every season we came up with something different. You just have to scroll through, go on, it's G2C YAS on YouTube, and go through and pick out 5 different pieces, and you'll see everything's different. So yeah, it was me.
Yeah, and do you think that it's a little ironic that this year, since it's the cleaning for Challenge 3, it's a cleaning product? Do you think it's a little ironic that right after that, it was April 1st, and then, or when did we get we got the challenges March 1st, and then 2 weeks later, we were all getting sent home from tour, and I was like, oh man, this is a touchy subject now, all these cleaning products.
But when we made the challenges, there was no COVID. And
Yeah, but now looking back, it's like, oh, men, you called it.
it was a premonition. And I don't know. I'm sure I applaud you guys for doing this because a lot of rinks haven't even reopened fully. We have a rink where you're not allowed to touch each other. So it would be challenging for you kids to choreograph. But maybe that's it. So do a piece where you're not touching, but almost touching. There was a challenge. I don't know if you saw this one. It was called Stuck on You, where they had to be touching each other at all time, but they couldn't be holding on to each other. So skating elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder, head to head, without actually holding on to each other. So this is the opposite of Stuck on You. Stay away from me. The piece is called Stay Away from Me, or Socially Distant. Yeah. Anyway, Garrett, are you there? Kate, do you have anything you'd like to add? I think this was fun. I had fun.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
fantastic. Thank you all so much for making this happen.
And you're going to post their icons. Can you post that at the end of this recording?
Yeah, I'll edit it in, all the silhouettes, and yeah, we'll figure out a way to incorporate that.
Thank you. See, Garrett can do anything. Garrett is the tech guy.
We'll try anything
Yeah.
that I can.
Yeah, Kate and Garrett, thank you for persevering. This hasn't been we normally have challenges, but not like this. So we're going to show the world that art still lives.
Yes.
And good luck, everyone. And please contact me if you're having a question, an artistic question. I'm always available because I'm the odd mama. That was my nickname. And I'm excited.
Thank you so much, Audrey.
welcome.
This was an awesome interview.
And it'll be fun. I'm hoping people will see it online and get invested in watching Young Artist Showcase, because now they know who the contestants are. And that's really important to me. So
Yes, and we're going to be doing these Saturday sort of viewings. I think we're going to try to sort of get everybody excited about Saturday viewings. So just to let the contestants know, please spread the word to have everybody watch each week on
Yeah,
Saturdays
yeah.
around noon. So
watch parties be great. Saturday Young Artist Showcase watch parties. Okay, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I know it's late over in Europe, so thanks for
Thank
joining.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.